So we are starting this, are we considering it a special meeting of the Commission on Aging? At this time, we do not have 6 voting members.
So it's an unofficial meeting, right?
It's an unofficial special meeting.
So,
Yep, that covers everything.
super secret meeting.
Open to the public.
Yeah,
Isn't this a regular meeting?
Yeah.
Isn't this on the calendar?
yeah, I don't think you can hold a meeting.
Well, we can't vote on anything.
Right. Yeah, and then it's an unofficial or informal meeting.
Right.
So that work?
So what we did for the month of November was we held a special meeting. That's how it was titled. And we
Okay.
discussed the emergency plan and how it was not effective for registering Stonington seniors and how to make that, how to improve that. So we've received, I don't know, do you want me to read the emails that we got from June and Leanne today? Did people get them?
Yeah, that would be great if you could.
All right. So June, where's June? Hello, June Strunk here. I will not be available for the meeting today. I would like to share information with you though. At the last Board of Selectmen meeting, I reported the concern regarding many senior residents not being on the emergency call tree and therefore missing critical emergency information. I want to let you know that if the COA can coordinate getting contact information for our seniors, the Board of Selectmen is committed to getting the seniors' information registered through the town website. Danielle and Deb both thought it was a great idea. A suggestion for the information request form is to add a trusted contact line so that the emergency notification went to both. That's all from me. Until the next meeting, please let me know if there's anything else I can assist with, or if there's any other questions. Be safe. All the best, June Strunk. Now, Leanne Theodore responded with, good afternoon. This is a great project for the Commission on Aging. We could design a bulk mailing with a postcard to return to Human Services. We have funds available in the Commission on Aging postage to make that happen. Busy day, but we'll take other updates out to the group before 4. She also has a standing conflict, which will change after the new year. Hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving, Leanne. If you check this, so that was the end of that email. If you check with the Everbright registration, it's not something that can be produced on a postcard. The postcard would really be information guiding people to that website because you have to put in information, drop downs, etc. So that's just
Debbie at my service coordinator has been trying to do it for some of the residents already that haven't signed in, and I know you have to check boxes for alerts, but she suggested, because most of our residents want all the alerts, that we just put a box for all the alerts, that we don't have to list them all, and maybe that would shorten it a little bit.
Do we want people to put private information on a postcard that's then going to be returned to the Human Services building? They're listing their private information.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Okay. What do they need on
Okay,
the call?
all right, so this postcard is telling them to go to a website to sign up?
Well,
I think that's
They
the
could
problem. Is
call.
a lot of them have no way to sign up. That's why a lot of them are not signed up.
Is there a number they could call to give the information at the town
There are a
hall?
lot of,
Or?
yeah,
I spoke
there are
with,
a lot of, sorry.
no, go ahead.
This is Ruth. There are a lot of residents at Edith K who don't even have a computer.
Right.
I know, and that's the problem.
So I spoke with Todd Olson, Captain Olson, after our meeting earlier in November. And he said that the problem was access, that people weren't aware of what they had to do. That's what he felt. He said if people called the police department, they could help register, they could help them answer those questions. Their concern is maintenance of this site, because as soon as you change a phone number, you change an address, you change a want, they can't keep up with that. That's the police department's concern. And also, we can't just send them a bunch of information and expect the police department to do data processing. So it sounds like June has addressed that issue with the other board select women people.
Well, then how about sending it in a letter form and then giving them a self-addressed stamped envelope to send it back? I know it'll cost a little more, but I think it would be more effective and you'd probably get more people to do it.
I agree. And maybe that's the easiest way to do it, right? Short of having a man telephone line.
This is Ruth again. If you gave me forms, I would be willing to distribute them to all of our residents and then go back and pick them up.
Right, and I can do the same at our property.
How many are there?
That help?
Does anybody have a number?
There are 60 apartments that Edith K.
And we have 75.
So it seems like what was suggested was more of a bulk mailing. That way we are not piecemealing this. It's all going out at the same time, the same process, the same look.
Oh, okay.
That's what Leanne has it seems like her email's recommending.
Okay.
I agree with you. I don't think it could probably be on a postcard, and I think we're better off because even if it's on a postcard, they're still going to have to send the postcard back. So I think we're better off doing it in a letter form with a self-addressed stamped envelope.
That makes sense.
I can ask, I think we could have enough money to do that. I don't know how much it costs. It would still have to go out as a bulk mailing, and just all the self-addressed stamped envelopes need to be labeled and stamped.
Okay.
I don't know how many seniors we have in town that we're able to mail to. Does anybody know that?
I was wondering, would we get the list from like voter registration? Is that how you would get a senior list, possibly?
They've done that in the past, but I don't know. Or maybe just the list that Gray Matters goes out to, but I don't know if that gets every senior.
It would be nice to have a combined overall list of all seniors in the town, wouldn't it? I mean, and then somehow update it. Pardon?
Michelle, I didn't know if Michelle might be able to have that answer.
What about Susan at Pawcatuck Neighborhood Center?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, we have a small number compared to all of the seniors in Stonington, and you probably would want to send it a mailing to people who've registered in some way. I mean, I would send it to, I guess you could do voter registration and then put something in the paper and say, if you're not a registered voter, maybe that's another way to get the word out is through the newspaper. Just do an article. And then Facebook, like the PNC could post it and Human Services could post it. I mean, that's kind of how we get. Yeah, we could all post it in different ways. And but I think I would go for a public listing myself.
I asked Officer Olson about the police department and how they've advertised it. It actually goes out of, it's funded by the emergency preparedness budget. So he said that anytime it's gone out as an ad or anything like that, it goes through them. So if it's coming out of ours, then then we get to skip that step.
Right.
That, or if they have a good budget for that, maybe they could have a coffee hour at these different facilities, right? And maybe that will draw people in to give the information. I don't know.
You don't want people sitting next to each other, though.
Yeah, I can't have anybody in the
Yeah, that
community
COVID
right
thing.
now. Everything's
Exactly.
closed.
Exactly, that's a good thing.
Sorry.
You know,
Um,
it's hard. So, Michelle, you're muted. Did you, were you able, do you have the list?
Do I have the what?
Do we have any sort of senior list through Human Services?
We have the Gray Matters mailing list. I believe that goes to most of the seniors.
do we know how many are on that, Michelle?
I don't know that off the top of my head, no.
Is there any way you could find out?
Yeah, I'm not in the office today, but I can
No,
find out.
that's fine. Well, then we know kind of what we have to come up with for money. Because if we're sending self-addressed stamped envelopes and typing a letter or whatever, I just want to make sure through Leanne, we're fine that we have enough money that she doesn't need any more of what we have left for the, you know what I mean? I just don't want to use it all.
Are people going to do it? Or is it going to be that we've just spent 58 cents or whatever it costs? I haven't mailed anything in such a long time, and it's just going to
Well,
sit.
you know what we could do? What if Ruth and I start as guinea pigs and we pass it out to our housings and see how many we get back? Then we would know, right? If
We can
people
do
are
that.
interested
Yeah.
in signing up or not.
Well, I know Becky at our office has a list of all of our residents.
Right, but I'm saying I could pass them out at my place and see how many letters I get back and how many are interested in signing up. So far, I think
Yeah,
Jess had
and-
14 or 15 come.
And I can do the same.
Well, would it be appropriate, Stacy, to just take the information and put it in the database without, you need to ask the residents first? I guess probably, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they need to put down whether they want it texted to them, emailed to them. If they want all three, we need all that information.
If they want it all, we're assuming that everyone wants to know when the blizzard's coming. If I don't drive, I might not care. Or I might not want people calling my house that I don't understand.
I think the biggest issue, this is Ruth again, is if we had to evacuate.
Right.
Right, and so that goes to responsibilities of housings and how that all works, and I don't have any information about that at all. So,
Well, I had one person in one of our buildings this week call us because their daughter got an alert, and they both live in Pawcatuck, that the hospitals were at full capacity in Rhode Island, and that not to go in unless you thought you had any type of COVID symptoms. So we got 2 calls in our office saying they were upset because they didn't get the alert. So and they're both people we were just working on the paperwork with to put into the system. But I didn't hear about it from anybody else. I just heard it from 2 residents.
I got them.
I didn't get the alert, and I usually get it on my email and my phone and everything.
No,
It might not have been a
didn't-
Stonington alert.
Right.
no, I don't think it was, because I'm on the list for Stonington. This is Ruth. I'm on this list with the police department, and I didn't get anything.
I actually think it might have either been Rhode Island. I can go back and check, but yeah. Doesn't necessarily mean it came from Stonington.
Well, I just know the person that said their daughter got it. The daughter lives in Pawcatuck off Liberty Street, and the resident lives at Stonington.
Yeah, but you can do whatever you want.
Right.
We have, Todd was telling me that he has families that live in California and they get the alerts because parents will be too confused and will get too anxious. So the family members get it and vet the information to them as appropriate. So I think there's a lot of bits and pieces that we need to consider as to why we just can't blanketly send out everybody's information.
Right.
Okay.
That's what June was saying. I thought that was a great idea.
Mhm.
So it sounds like we need to start with a number. How many people are there? A cost, how much this will be, and I don't know. We have the financials, well, we have the available financials. So Stacy sent them out today, or yesterday, sorry, Stace, sent them out yesterday.
That's okay.
So we know how much
Yes.
money is available.
But I know Leanne uses some of it throughout the year, but I don't know how much she needs for different mailings. So I'd have to ask her how much we actually might have left.
Right.
But I'd rather use it because if we don't use it, we lose it.
And then the question comes back to what was the selectmen's, as a group, what was their plan for data processing? Because if their plan was to have an intern or 2 or 5 for the next semester, be available to take phone calls, and the postcard says, call this number to register for. And it's not costing us anything, and we're not expecting people to send back forms. We're not expecting people, we're not labeling and self-addressing forms.
Oh, that's even better.
I don't know that. I
Yeah.
made it up in my head, my dream.
Okay.
You want me to email
Sounds
June?
like a good dream.
I can email June and ask her that.
Well, what she said was that there was a commitment. She didn't go into details of what that commitment was.
No, she
Maybe they don't know.
suggested in the last meeting, which would be great.
Right.
Can I just make a suggestion? So if June, I just read her email, if she's saying that she'd like the COA to get the contact information out to seniors, what if we simply started by publishing things, like publishing in the Sun, instead of like before we do the mailing? I mean, there's different ways that we can contact people and via Facebook and things like that, instead of getting to a mailing where it just seems like a second step to me.
I know a lot of our residents don't get the paper anymore. I know I can't make, I don't know.
We only have 3 people out of 60 who get the newspaper here at Edith K. Because I'm one of them.
What about public access television? Do people watch TV?
Not the
I mean, how do
access
they get
channel.
how do people get information about the world?
On our bulletin board.
On their bulletin board? You mean in the housing? You mean a real bulletin board?
Yeah, at Edith K, we have a bulletin board opposite of the mailing boxes.
Okay, so that's like the housing complexes, but if we're talking about all of the seniors in the town of Stonington, the housing complexes are just one part of that. So maybe we want to get more global, instead of like saying we're going to mail out to certain people, because I agree with the statement that there are certainly people who do not want alerts, and it's a voluntary thing. So we're just putting it, I would imagine that we're just putting it out there that, hey, there are these alerts, and if you'd like to sign up, this is how you can do it. But I don't know that anyone's asking us to be the people who actually gather all the information at this point.
Well, I thought that was Leanne's suggestion, that it would be a great project for the Commission on Aging to gather the information, and then June would find a way for it to get inputted.
All right, that's going to be a big job, don't you think?
Now, the request from Leanne, or the suggestion from Leanne, is that we design a bulk mailing with a postcard and that get returned to Human Services. It's not that it's necessarily us gathering the data.
Okay.
I think once everything
Maybe-
came back, then we would probably organize it somehow and hand it over to June and the Board of Selectmen, and then they would handle putting it into the system.
I just go back to feeling like, first of all, a postcard is not an appropriate place to put that information. So a postcard would be great for announcing that there is this program and you should register by calling this number or going to this website.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
Right,
I
and
agree
if
with
it's
that.
too much information, then we do it in a letter form with a self-addressed stamped envelope. But you're right, we have to have phones for them to call.
If that's the plan.
Right, which that's why I said I could email June and ask her what her thought was, because either if we can't get the information, because you're right, it's not appropriate to send back on a postcard, then we're gonna have to do it in a letter form with a self-addressed stamped envelope to send it back.
Someone's still going to have to do the data processing. So I'm hoping that that's where June had a plan.
That's what I thought she said, that we would hand it over and she would make sure that it got in. So that's probably, if depending on how much data comes or how many forms come back and the data processing needs to be done, then maybe they can detect how many interns they might need. You know, we could have 10 come back. We could have 500 come back. But it's still not something, it's necessarily not going to happen in a week. It's going to take a couple months.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking if we could get the letter out sometime by January, in the month of January, then the kids are still in school. If kids need a project or an internship, they have time to do that. Unless they do it as community service hours over the summer. I can try and call her and ask her.
Well, she's in a meeting currently. That's why she's
No,
not
I
on the
didn't
call.
mean right now. I just
Oh.
meant sometime maybe this week. I know she's in a meeting. That's why she's not with us.
Right,
But I
right.
can certainly try and contact her or email her this week.
I think that's important, Stace.
Huh?
I think that's important.
Hi, I just checked our last Gray Matters mailing list and there's about 2,152 people on it.
Wow.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
You just made our day.
But then again, that includes the housing agency. So if we have drop-offs there, if we might have to mail to all of those.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You should just deliver those, the Gray Matters newsletters to Edith K, and then the residents can pick them up, but they don't all necessarily take one.
Mhm.
But I would assume, Michelle, that there is one for every resident, so that number would still be accurate.
For the seniors, that's where, the Gray
Yeah,
Matters,
well-
it goes to 2,000 people.
Terrific.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. But,
You know, it'd
we
be nice
still
if we-
can.
Ruth, what were you saying?
Pardon me?
I thought you were in the middle of saying something.
Oh, no, I started to, and then someone else started to say something, so I stopped. Because someone said it would be nice.
That was me, sorry. And then I stopped so you could finish.
That's okay. It would be nice what?
I was thinking it'd be nice if we come up with a form, it'd be nice for housing, and anytime someone moves into the area that they automatically got that form, so I could put it as part of a move-in packet. So that way we don't run into this problem again 3-4 years from now.
That's
That
true.
it should just be something that everybody would get as they move in. Or if they move to the town, or, so that way we're not stuck with this problem again.
Does
Right.
Connecticut have an emergency registry? Rhode Island has an emergency registry. So you register if you need oxygen, you register if Those forms should be everywhere too, but they have the same problem. And that is that every time someone moves, they need to change their address, they need to change a phone number, and it doesn't happen. So it's a maintenance issue that great that we're going to get people in, but I don't know how we're going to. All right, forget it. One step at a time. How do we get people in? I apologize.
But you know what I think too? I think more and more, a lot of our seniors are skipping the landline and going to a cell phone. And I get see that as the progression comes as they keep moving in new generations or new age groups. So eventually, hopefully, everybody would just have their cell phone, and you're not worrying about the landline, the cell phone, the computer, the this, the that, because they're getting more tech savvy. But the ones that are here now aren't as tech savvy.
Mm-hmm. Right. Except that I am. I have just a cell phone. I don't have a landline.
So what are we thinking the next steps should be?
I think we need to find out what we should put on a form first. What's easy for seniors, not inundating, not overwhelming. What's the quickest amount, least amount of information we put on a form for them to fill out to get the information in the database?
Well, some is required. If you look at the Everbright website, some information is required. So we'd have to start with that.
Okay.
And then after that, you create an account. And I didn't go any further because I already have an account, but I have no idea what any of the passwords are or anything like that. The next part of it, I would imagine, would be, do you want weather alerts? Do you want traffic alerts? Do you want, I don't know if they call them crime alerts, but if there's been multiple break-ins, you get an alert on your phone if you want it.
I think you should get all emergency alerts.
Me too.
Not everybody does. Not everybody wants that, Ruth.
Oh, they don't?
Nope.
Oh, because that makes sense to me. I mean, I would have liked to have known that the hospital was full.
Well, that goes back to the fact that if that didn't come from Stonington, it wouldn't have come out on this Everbright system.
Right.
No, this all started with the water problem. But I think, I just know when and obviously because I'm a different situation because we're a housing complex, if one gets it, the first thing they do is the other one wonders why they're not getting it.
Right. Right.
That's the dilemma with working with seniors, is that's what's going to happen.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then they're going to complain about the fact that they didn't get locked out.
Exactly. That's why I said all emergency alerts.
Okay, so my question is, if Gray Matters goes out to that many people, can this form be a part of Gray Matters?
It's not just a form, though. It's a website.
But it's a request.
Correct. Got it.
Okay, so it's a request. So, can it go out to Gray Matters? Because in which case, of course, then it's a matter of how you, maybe on the front of Gray Matters it says, emergency contact information, please respond, or, something.
I think that it wouldn't hurt for Stonington Arms. It wouldn't hurt for Babcock. It wouldn't hurt for Assist Drive. It wouldn't hurt for the PACE or for PNC or anybody to put out a flyer saying this is available to you. This is, because some people, to your point, Ruth, are very tech savvy and can go in and maybe they just don't even know that it exists. So I don't think, so if it goes into Gray Matters that this is Everbright is available, this is how you access it, this is what it's for.
It does go, it has gone into our events, or a magazine that goes out quarterly to every Stonington resident. It's been in there.
Yeah.
Is it a tiny ad in the Stonington magazine? I can't remember.
No, it's like half
Or
a
is it
page.
half a page? I don't know what to do.
Well, let's.
Okay, so you're telling me it's already in the Stonington magazine that's sitting over at in the community center, a huge pile of them?
No, I'm saying it's been advertised in the Stonington, in our magazine before, quarterly.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
The police department has put it in.
But it's not in there right now.
I can't recall if it was in the last issue or not.
Okay.
Do we start with June?
Do we start with what?
Do we start with June? And get clarification about what their thoughts are?
Yes.
I can email her and see what she says. If anybody has any questions, just let me know and I'll include it in the email.
Norm, does your church put out a bulletin?
Not, not currently.
Okay. Other-
Nothing. Well, we do an email thing, but it's not really a bulletin like we have in the past.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it would work. What were you thinking?
I was just thinking it wouldn't be a bad place to put. There is an emergency registry for the town of Stonington. You could go to this website.
Well, I could do something like that. You know, that's easy enough. I
Yeah.
have an on-church email that I send out stuff periodically.
Because again, it may not be that the participant or the resident or the senior is going to register for this. It may be their family. And they would be tech savvy.
So I have a
Yeah.
question.
I might have
Someone had
I
a
have a
question.
question for, this is Sue. I just had a question for June. Maybe people might want to know what types of emergencies will they be notified about? So would it be a traffic jam? Would it be weather only? Would it be the water, which is, you know, what started this? Because, I mean, I just think personally, there's some emergencies I would want to know about, but I wouldn't want to know about every single emergency kind of blowing up my phone. So
Okay,
I
well,
think
it's just
for people,
on the website. So on
Yeah.
the website, you put in your email and then you confirm your email. And then it says select one or more from list of the section below. And there's a huge list, and it even goes into Commission on Aging alert. My thing is I don't think you don't have to add that whole list, but the urgent alerts, you can do emergency management, police, selectman's office, or town urgent alert. And I think that's all they need. They don't need from all the selectmen's, all the commissions or all the architectural review board or the board of selectmen. That's something they could go into later if they need to. I think our concern is that they just get the emergency alert.
Okay.
So there's one box you can check and it just says urgent alert update. And then underneath that, it includes emergency management, police department, selectmen, and town urgent.
Uh-huh.
So I think we just sign them up for just the urgent. They don't need everything else, the tax collector, the town news. I don't even know who signs up for those. The housing authority's on there.
So I just want to, because this is the conversation I have on a regular basis, we don't want to take people's choices away from them. We don't want to take, we can't make decisions for people. So do we say in the postcard, the whatever, by clicking this box, you'll get these, but there are several others, and please go on the website to, if you want more information?
That's what I think. I think that you
Okay.
can just sign up for the urgent alerts, period. That's the problem.
Nope.
So can I ask this a question? Are you saying we'd be creating these accounts for these people, or whoever's inputting this data would be creating the accounts? Because if so, and you ask for an email address, how are you, and they're not tech savvy, how are they going to verify it?
I don't think it says, if you go on the website, it says click here to subscribe. You put in your email, you confirm your email. That's where June said if we get the postcards of who wants to sign up for the alerts with the email, she would find a way to get the data put in.
Okay, so when you say confirm email, what exactly do you mean? You just have to type it in twice, or you actually have to
That's
get
what it
sent
says.
an email and then respond that, yes, this is me?
Well, if you go on the Town of Stonington website and you click on email alerts, it says you put your email, confirm email. And then you select which alerts you want.
Do they have email? These folks that we're saying don't have computers? Why would they have an email?
No, we don't. No,
Right.
no, they have telephones.
So then you have to choose a text option.
But landlines don't text if they don't have a
No.
cell phone.
No.
But I have to say more of my residents now have cell phones than landlines.
So we're still believing that we're leaving people, going to have people left out. If you have a landline, you don't have internet at all, you're still going to be without under these circumstances.
Wasn't someone going to talk to Todd about the reverse 911 system?
I did.
Okay.
The reverse 911 system is now this Everbright system.
Oh, it replaced it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Michelle, good. I'm glad you thought that through because I certainly didn't. How are we going to register people without an email address?
That's
Nicely done.
email alert, but it doesn't say text alerts. I'm still trying to find if they have text alerts.
Should we really just be focusing on the families? Encouraging families. And I know there's a lot of folks that don't have a family, but we have to think of other ways to support them. But for this particular information grab, is it really the families that we need to focus on?
Stonington alert.
I think there probably are a lot of seniors that don't even text, even if they have cell phones. Right.
Carolyn, but you would read the text. Do you think that they would read the text if they got them?
Well, depending on their age, I think there's probably a lot of people that don't even text. They keep their phones. They use their phones probably just for an emergency or whenever they have to use it on a daily basis. But
they have.
I know a lot of seniors myself that do not text.
Just to me, I feel very privileged, Marilyn.
They have a landline, and then they carry one of those little, a phone that is just for emergency use.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Sue. I have to leave for another meeting, so I'm going to hang up, okay?
Thank you, Sue.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you all.
I don't know what the answer is.
Well, this is Ruth. I think we need to start somewhere.
I do too.
I mean, it's going to take, several months, So if it means for Stacy and I to do our complexes, at least we've got that much information in. and build on it?
Well, I can try it. I'll still email June and ask her, explain to her about the email, the text, the landlines, what's the best way she might think for us to gather all that information and figure out from there where we go. I didn't think it was going to be something that was done in 3 weeks. So I can try and bring that back, that information for the next meeting and see what happens.
Okay. All right, but as I said, in the meantime, if you know, I'm Stacy. Are you on, Stacy?
Yes, I am, Ruth.
Oh, okay, so if you wanted for us to just do our complexes, at least to get some information going, because it's going to take them time to start gathering. I mean, if Great Matters goes out to over 2,000 people, that's going to be a lot of time to gather all that information.
Let me check and see if I can come up with a form. Maybe by next week I can try. This week I'm busy, but next week I can try and come up with, oh, maybe I can't. I have a conference next week. Let me see if I can try and come up with some sort of form and find out what information needs to be on it.
Excuse me just 1 minute. This is Marilyn, and I wanted to say that I think what Ruth is saying is really a good idea, starting with the 2 homes that you're talking about, because I think maybe with that, even word of mouth, a lot of these seniors probably chat with each other, and if they know that there's a way to be notified of an emergency, then they would be willing to somehow participate. And I think that's an excellent start, what Ruth said, getting it out to the 2 complexes
Housing.
that have,
but I want to still come up with the same form. So if we can come up with a form that would go out to the 2 housing, see how that goes before we send the whole thing out to the town.
That would be great.
All right, I can work on that.
Okay.
Is our goal, this is Norm, is our goal to send these out in January after the holidays?
No.
Is that too soon?
I don't think we'll have it done that quick.
Yeah. Well, what about those 2 complexes, though?
I'm going to try my best, Norm.
Yeah.
If you get us a form and I can take the form to all of the residents, get them to fill it out, and then I can bring it all in a folder to wherever you tell me to take it.
So I think that's important. I think that we need to have a process before we start gathering information, because I would hate to be responsible for someone's phone number, email, address, name, and have it be sitting in an office somewhere. So we should create a process while we're creating the form.
We've already started doing our residents. They give us our information. Well, I already have it in the files anyway because they live there. We've already started putting it in the residents. We put it in our newsletter for December, put out right before Thanksgiving, and residents that want it done, we've already had 13 or 14 come to us.
So I'll call Felicia tomorrow. I'll call Felicia and Sis Drive on Edith K tomorrow and just see where they stand on all of this.
Okay, that makes sense, because as a resident, I don't, it's better for you to do that with Felicia than me.
I just want us to have one process. I think as soon as you get bits and pieces happening, you lose track. That's been my experience, at least.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Makes sense to have a process.
Okay.
I hate to do this too, but I have a 5 o'clock appointment.
Okay.
So if I'm needed, I'm going to excuse myself. Thank you, everyone.
So our next meeting is what, January 6th, correct?
All right.
I haven't even looked that far ahead, Norm. I'm going to trust you.
So we're just going to continue the next meeting?
There's some work to do between now and then, right?
Right.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you,
Take
RJ.
care.
You
You
too.
too.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, the next
And-
meeting
and-
will be the 6th. Thanks for that, Norm. Appreciate that.
Okay.
And Stacy, Mrs. Ruth again, call me if you want help.
I will, hon. Thank you.
Okay.
Can you, I need your phone number though. Whoops. I don't have it. Do you
Okay.
want to stay on after everybody hangs up?
Yeah, let me
I
make
can
sure
do
we're not
that.
recording anymore before you give that out, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, we're gonna complete this meeting at 4:57 p.m.
Okay.
Okay.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Thanks.
to you guys.
Happy holidays. Stacy, are you still there?
Hold
Yes,
on, let
I'm
me
here,
stop.